Hello, Patreon friends. Thank you so much for being here and allowing me to provide this content to you. Honestly, it's really excited for me to be able to do something like this. Something I thought about for a while, just to kind of incorporate the other platforms that I want to be a part of, but am just always doing so much on these other platforms that I'm like, I feel like I'm doing so much. But after having some good conversations with a good friend of mine and kind of recalibrating and rethinking some things, I felt like a really good way of allowing myself to provide content for multiple platforms is to do this kind of system where I provide a small chunk of it to YouTube, to my podcast, and then you guys get to receive the remaining. So I'm excited. That's like an added bonus for you. I also want to do some more meditations and stuff. I know I had talked about that in the past, but I feel like meditations would be a lot easier for me to record than yoga at the moment. And just I feel like I like teaching meditation sometimes more than yoga. So I have some ideas for that planned, especially since I am doing my meditation and Kundalini courses. So definitely some inspiring stuff happening there that I would love to share over here with you guys as a added little bonus to our little community. So the cards that we've got that came out here are the Hermit. We've got the Two of Swords and the Three of Wands. Also, sorry for the mowing and everything. You know, that's just life. Life goes on around here. So what I'm feeling here, and I kind of touched on this briefly as I ended the last video on YouTube, which I'm recording this in 2 separate videos. I feel like it'll be a lot quicker for the upload. So you can watch that one and then just watch the extended over here as like a part 2. But if you watch that one, you'll know that I kind of was describing how these cards very much align with these 3 up here, where there's this sort of energy of like this hermit mode. And within that, it kind of even reminds me of like my past self, where I was more introverted. I maybe was less quick to talk in social situations. Just in general, I'm more of like a observer. So if you invite me to a party and you're like, what, Ashley usually talks so much, why isn't she talking right now? It's because like I don't know, I've always been like this. I always observe the energy of everyone in the room and the situation and the party, and then based off of that, I guess I'm like, okay, I feel who this is, and then I kind of get to know everyone energetically, and then it's just easier for me to be a part and participate in certain things. So I don't know, that's just me, but especially me in the past, people used to call me shy or be like, oh, Ashley's just shy, and it was really just like, I'm just observing the situation, I'm just observing everyone here, I'm just seeing, what's going on, and then where I fit in all of this, and then, I'll feel more like talkative, whatever the case is. But it kind of reminds me of that sort of energy where it's very introverted, kind of hermit mode, very much observation, and kind of like a internal seeker, which is very much the hermit in nature anyways. But we have to be aware of how long we allow ourselves to stay there, because it can kind of have like this parasitic effect on us where we begin to just kind of, I don't know if dissociate is the word, but that might be one for some that, you kind of feel or understand. It kind of even reminds me of, with, I guess people maybe still socialize during the lockdown situation. But I would say even more so just, in cases where you are kind of put into this area of having to be in hermit mode, sometimes it's harder to communicate. Sometimes, I don't know, some of you during lockdown might have experienced feeling kind of antisocial and having to unlearn and relearn how to be social again once things started to open up and, people started to bring in some normalness, even though, things are still happening. Either way, it has this energy of having to relearn how to socialize, and with that maybe comes the anxiety of this card, in what this portrays, which is, maybe eating your words in some way, making a plan and being like, oh, I'm really anxious for this, I don't know. That plays into the confidence yellow that we see here too. So definitely that's kind of like that parasitic sort of not so balanced energy of the Hermit card, where it's like, oh, I'm really anxious, I don't know, this feels really uncomfortable to me, etc., etc. And so we had to, moving right along, kind of cut out that energy. It's recognizing like, okay, there are things I need to remove here. This orangish flower is kind of giving me solar plexus, which kind of reminds me of this card too, because Wands feels very passionate to me, and so does, the sacral chakra, that's what I meant. The sacral chakra also feels very passionate to me, especially since it has its basis around creativity. But allowing yourself to kind of cut out those things that no longer serve you, which might be kind of that introverted hermit mode, that kind of secluding yourself, putting yourself away, putting your needs on the shelf, allowing yourself to kind of break away from everything else, forgetting how to socialize as a result of that, and then not really knowing how to handle certain situations that are presenting themselves to you on that social spectrum. So some of those feelings might have had to have been cut out. Some of those thoughts and feelings, that imposter syndrome sort of thing, is that what it's called? Just feeling like, you're not capable, or you're less than, or whatever the case is. And allowing yourself to kind of get into the space of confidence, of grounded stability within your passions, within your creativity, within who you are, in order to better recognize your next steps moving forward and come into the space where you are feeling whole, instead of feeling like, I don't know, that sounds cool, yeah. And then, being completely uncertain with whatever you're doing. But it's important to kind of know when to cut off this period of hermit mode, so that you can really allow yourself to dive into this Three of Wands, which the traditional depiction of this card is typically someone kind of standing on a mountain sort of situation, and they're looking over this grand scape of water, I suppose, or this body of water, and they see some ships coming in. And this one is kind of like this little bird thing with a note, and that kind of also has that same energy where there are these different things growing. It maybe started from this one little passion, and maybe this could also pertain to like some things that you did during this lockdown period. If you did anything creatively, kind of allowing yourself to start a new stepping stone and growing something that is from the heart, that is very passionate. And this kind of comes across even with this card too, allowing yourself to come out of this unhealthy space of secluding yourself or locking yourself away, or coming out of this period of hermit mode, however healthy or unhealthy that is for you, cutting that out, cutting out those energies that you don't need, allowing yourself to bring in some healthy communication, whether that's within communicating your own emotions or your own feelings. And then stepping into this last card, where you are really allowing yourself to dive into your passions, your creative efforts, and see that there are opportunities coming your way with that little note that the bird is carrying. And with the traditional depiction, it's like, I'm going to say it's like 3 ships coming in, or someone holding 3 wands. I forget which. I know there's like a ship kind of coming in. There's that idea or imagery of a ship coming in. So I feel like allowing yourself to kind of move into this energy will provide you with a lot of opportunities that are even passion related, that you can move forward with and move forward confidently, instead of kind of being in this uncertain sort of like, oh yeah, that sounds good, halfway confident energy that you might have had previously. So, but even if this is something that you're needing to do now, within a job situation or something like that, allowing yourself to, again, kind of cut out that part of you that feels too shy to say anything, and making sure that you are making that communication with whatever the situation is, so that you can really start to see these wands pop up and those ships come in, because the opportunities are there. It's just a matter of allowing yourself to be confident to receive those opportunities and to release those moments and thoughts of uncertainty. These cards can speak to thoughts. The swords, removing those thoughts and moments of uncertainty so that you can really be there to kind of accept the rewards at your reward ceremony, so to speak, or accept the blessings that have been waiting for you and have been moving towards you for a while now. So step into that confidence, allow yourself to ground yourself, and make the cuts as necessary so that you can move forward with the most wholesome energy that you deserve. But that is the end of the extended reading, my friends. Feel free to give me a follow on YouTube so that you can see the content as I post it and get some notifications. I'll always be uploading anything like this, the extended readings, to Patreon automatically, so you can find it all here. But yeah, and follow my podcast as well if you want to listen to the reading but don't want to be bothered by having to keep the YouTube screen on because you don't have YouTube Plus. But also just kind of want to listen as you go in your car. The podcast is always an option, and I, again, have Spotify, Apple, I think Amazon, Anchor, a lot of those different platforms. So I hope to see you all there, but I hope you also have a good day.